See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely.
Kid, I need another one. You here, get you another one.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Oprah Winfrey's name is now allegedly being mentioned in Jeffrey Epstein court filings. And the silence from her side is speaking volumes right now. For years, people believed her empire was untouchable, like nothing could ever shake it. Any whispers about connections to powerful men in Hollywood were brushed off as gossip, rumors, or hate talk, and most people kept it moving. That changed when federal raids on Sean Combs' properties exploded across headlines. Reports claim investigators found large stockpiles of items that raised eyebrows, along with financial trails that insiders say align with quiet payoff patterns connected to other big names. None of this has been proven in court. But the timing alone has people asking questions, and the industry appears nervous. Behind the scenes, sources say the Netflix documentary wasn't random at all, it was a calculated release. Allegedly, some of the footage came from someone deep inside Combs' circle. While the legal chaos kept everyone distracted, 2 judges denied bail. Lawyers dismissed the accusations as a money grab. Yet leaked messages continue to fuel doubt. The math isn't adding up for many people, especially after one line keeps circulating: Costco doesn't sell baby oil. Weinstein's accusers claim Oprah's name gave him cover. And Katt Williams is still holding what he calls receipts, waiting for the right moment to speak out.
I knew Tyler Ferry. I knew. He plays that Madeira part a little too goddamn well. He's uncomfortable as a man, but that mother is funny and very comfortable as a. Your shield has been unveiled. You can let that black woman go on about her business now. It's all out now. It's all out, allegedly.
This isn't just about one man falling from power. It's about the system that allegedly allowed him to operate in plain sight. The silence from those around him and the recordings that are rumored to exist is what's really putting pressure on the industry right now. This story goes far beyond a single arrest and points to something much bigger. When federal agents raided Sean Combs' mansions in Los Angeles and Miami last March, reports suggested they weren't focused only on his private conduct. Investigators were allegedly searching for evidence of a broader network, not just isolated actions. The timing came just days after a grand jury indictment, and many observers felt it appeared deliberate rather than rushed. Authorities reportedly discovered large quantities of baby oil, eye drops that were allegedly mixed with other substances, and financial records stretching back years, details that suggested long-term planning rather than impulsive behavior. This situation wasn't seen as involving just one individual. It raised questions about the people who moved within his circle, attended private events, and were never held accountable.
P. Diddy be wanting the body, and you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did.
While Combs remains held in New Jersey, attention is quietly shifting elsewhere. The official explanation is that his own excesses finally caught up with him, leading to serious charges, including trafficking and racketeering. But many details don't sit right with the public. People keep coming back to the same unusual points, such as the reported volume of supplies and how little of it seems consistent with normal personal use. That's one reason federal interest appears to extend beyond the downfall of a single individual. Investigators allegedly found ledgers alongside records showing payments connected to people who attended his so-called private parties. These weren't described as random wild nights. Reports suggest they were structured events, with documentation, cameras present, and details carefully tracked. Those who might be able to explain what really happened aren't speaking yet. But when the dates are lined up, patterns begin to emerge, and that silence is starting to feel less solid by the day. Looking closely at the timeline raises more questions. The March raids. The September indictments. Then a quiet adjustment to Combs' release timeline, reportedly moved up by a full week without public explanation. Some observers believe the pacing suggests that more is happening behind the scenes. Meanwhile, Combs' legal team has been vocal for months, arguing that the Netflix documentary The Reckoning was part of a targeted narrative. They have even suggested it was influenced by his longtime rival, 50 Cent. But another detail has drawn attention. Some of the footage that reportedly contributed to the case, including clips of Combs in private discussions with legal counsel, did not come from reporters or paparazzi. According to reports, it was provided by a third party with direct access to his inner circle at a time when his team was focused on responding to indictments. That kind of leak doesn't appear accidental. It suggests a deliberate move. Netflix has stated that the material was obtained legally. Still, many observers are asking who benefited from its release and why the spotlight remains fixed on Combs while other figures mentioned in speculation have not faced similar scrutiny. As reactions, and in some cases silence, continue, the contradictions are what many people say stand out the most.
Well, welcome back to NNN, where we give it to you straight, no chaser. Well, this story is not straight at all. It's quite twisty, turny, and greasy. Tyler Perry, who's currently dating a black woman, wink wink, was outed and sued for $260 million in a sexual assault lawsuit filed by a male actor from his show, The Oval.
2 judges denied Combs bail, a rare decision that typically suggests they reviewed evidence the public hasn't seen. Soon after, his release timeline was quietly adjusted, reducing the expected timeframe without any public explanation. Moves like that usually don't happen without a reason. Around the same time, attention shifted to a $77 million lawsuit involving Tyler Perry, filed by an actor who claims Perry made unwanted advances, allegedly offered money in exchange for silence, and later attempted to damage his reputation when he refused. Perry's legal team has denied the allegations, calling the case a failed attempt to seek financial gain. Still, the details being discussed publicly have drawn attention. What stands out to many observers is how closely the claims resemble patterns seen in other high-profile cases, including allegations of smaller recurring payments, promises of career support, and an approach that appears structured rather than random. In one reported text exchange, Perry allegedly wrote, "I did so much for you." Some interpret the message as frustration, while others see it differently. Another point drawing attention is that the same attorney representing Perry's accuser is also involved in another active case connected to him, despite earlier claims that the matter had been dismissed. That overlap has fueled speculation about a possible pattern rather than coincidence. Then there is Oprah Winfrey, whose name continues to resurface in discussions she has not publicly addressed. Her name reportedly appears in documents connected to Jeffrey Epstein, along with her previously documented public support for Weinstein before his conviction and downfall. Questions have also resurfaced about a school she supported in South Africa, where abuse allegations led to arrests, followed by settlements and relatively limited media coverage. None of these associations prove wrongdoing. However, the absence of detailed public explanations is one reason the questions continue instead of fading. As Combs' case expands and legal actions involving Perry continue to develop, public focus is shifting quickly. The conversation is no longer only about what certain figures may have known, but about what role, if any, they may have played behind the scenes. When observers point to reported payments, private gatherings, and the timing of information leaks, some believe it looks less like coincidence and more like attempts to manage damage before situations escalated beyond control.
What kind of a toll would you say that this has all taken on you?
I was extremely anxious. The calls got to a point where the calls and texts were almost every day. Just this constant state of like, if I don't answer, I will lose my job.
The most unsettling part may actually be what's missing from the public record. In Combs' appeal, his legal team argues that the judge acted like a 13th juror. But critics say the real concern is the evidence that hasn't been made public, the alleged recordings from private events, the full payment ledgers, and the names connected to alleged silence agreements. To many observers, those details represent leverage. And right now, someone may be deciding when and how that leverage is used. The documentary reportedly linked to 50 Cent wasn't seen as the end of the story. Some insiders believe it was only the opening move. According to speculation, the next wave of attention may focus less on Combs himself and more on the people around him, those who wrote checks, attended private gatherings, or remained silent. Many critics argue this situation was never just about one man's alleged actions. They believe it points to a broader structure and to the individuals who may have helped protect it. Another unresolved question involves the third party who reportedly provided footage to Netflix. Not a hacker. Not a reporter. But someone with direct access and a possible motive to keep the spotlight focused in a very specific direction. If recent months have shown anything, it's that leaks may only be beginning. The real question many are asking isn't whether more information will surface, but who could be next. What links Sean Combs, Tyler Perry, and Oprah Winfrey, according to ongoing public discussion, isn't just influence, it's the uncertainty that comes when that influence appears to be under pressure. Sources claim that concern is spreading across the industry. Individuals connected to projects involving Combs, Perry, and Oprah are reportedly consulting attorneys, while crisis PR teams are said to be working behind the scenes. For many, the concern isn't just exposure, it's the possibility of being pulled into the spotlight next. Actors who previously worked on Perry's productions are reportedly reviewing old contracts and morality clauses. Artists once associated with Bad Boy Records are said to be removing social media posts tied to private events. Former media figures connected to Oprah's network are also watching developments closely, aware of how quickly professional ties can shift when controversy emerges. In Hollywood, the old rule was simple: you're only as secure as your last headline. But now, many believe the focus has expanded beyond major names to anyone who may have benefited from the system. What makes the situation feel different to some observers is the reported volume of potential evidence: alleged recordings tied to Combs, financial documents connected to Perry's productions, and business communications related to Oprah's ventures. Industry insiders speak about a quiet domino effect, a growing concern that if one person speaks out, others could follow. The tension isn't only about what people may have done. It's also about what they may have witnessed. Reports suggest that some former collaborators are privately seeking legal advice. Others are attempting to locate or secure past materials, concerned about what could resurface. Professionals who once built careers within Oprah's media circle are reportedly reassessing their positions and exposure. One of the clearest signals of concern, according to industry watchers, is silence. Public figures who once maintained constant visibility have gone quiet. Social media activity has slowed. Interviews are being postponed. Appearances at major events are quietly canceled. Agents are advising clients to keep a low profile. Some studios are reportedly delaying projects associated with Perry's company. And the industry's usual public relations response appears more restrained than usual. For former associates of Combs, legal experts note that federal investigations often expand beyond the central figure to examine broader networks. The message being discussed within the industry is clear: anyone connected to the system could come under scrutiny. As more attention is placed on Combs' case, critics say the situation highlights a larger issue: how influence and access can shape narratives, relationships, and accountability. Observers point to recurring themes: reported payments, private gatherings, and carefully managed public messaging. To many insiders, those patterns feel structured rather than accidental. That's one reason the lawsuit involving Tyler Perry is being closely watched. Critics say the allegations reflect familiar claims seen in other high-profile disputes, including promises of career opportunities, ongoing financial support, and pressure to remain silent. Perry's accuser, Mario Rodriguez, has publicly stated he stayed quiet for years before coming forward. Some observers believe that once one claim gains traction, others may feel more confident speaking. At the same time, Perry's legal team continues to deny the allegations and has characterized the case as financially motivated. Then there is Oprah Winfrey, whose name continues to surface in broader discussions. Her name has reportedly appeared in documents connected to Jeffrey Epstein, along with her previously documented public support for Weinstein before his conviction. Questions have also been raised about the school she supported in South Africa, where abuse allegations led to arrests, settlements, and relatively limited coverage. None of these connections establish wrongdoing. However, critics say the lack of detailed public responses is one reason the conversation continues. What stands out to many observers is the silence. While other public figures have addressed controversies directly, Oprah has largely avoided public comment on these issues. Some interpret that silence as strategic, especially given her long-standing public image built around trust and credibility. As scrutiny grows, some analysts believe avoiding attention may be seen as the safest approach. Another point frequently raised in industry discussions is the role of shared support systems, attorneys, publicists, and crisis managers who specialize in containing reputational damage. Katt Williams has publicly criticized what he describes as an industry culture that protects powerful figures while sidelining critics. His past comments about Combs' private events suggested that documentation and recordings could function as leverage rather than mere records. Taken together, critics argue these situations suggest coordination rather than coincidence. From this perspective, lawsuits, leaks, and documentary releases are not random developments but strategic actions within larger power struggles. Many observers believe the most significant factor is not what has already surfaced, but what may still remain undisclosed. The alleged recordings tied to Combs, financial records connected to Perry, and business communications related to Oprah's ventures are all said to be under review in various contexts. For those watching closely, the central question is no longer whether more information will emerge, but who might be affected when it does. What connects Sean Combs, Tyler Perry, and Oprah Winfrey in public discussion is not just influence or wealth, but the uncertainty that arises when long-standing power appears vulnerable. Behind the scenes, industry reactions suggest growing concern that the environment is shifting. Critics argue the situation reflects something larger than individual allegations, an ecosystem that, in their view, has protected itself for years. They point to claims that Oprah's public support once strengthened Weinstein's credibility, that allegations involving Perry reflect familiar financial patterns, and that events connected to Combs were described as tightly controlled environments. To many observers, these similarities suggest a broader system rather than isolated incidents. With ongoing lawsuits, overlapping allegations, and increasing public scrutiny, pressure appears to be building. And systems under that kind of pressure rarely change quietly. One unresolved element still drawing attention is the unidentified third party who reportedly provided footage to Netflix, someone with access, motive, and a potential strategic interest. If recent developments are any indication, industry watchers believe additional disclosures remain possible. As the situation evolves, one thing remains clear: this story is still developing. What do you think is really happening behind the scenes? Is Oprah's silence strategic or something else? Did Tyler Perry's team misread public reaction by calling the claims a money grab? And if additional recordings or documents emerge, how might that change the conversation? Share your thoughts and stay tuned, because this story is far from over.